Hey YouTube.
Hey guys.
Before we start recording for the regular episode, we did notice that the last recording with the new mics, the mics are hanging in front of our faces, which makes the YouTube video a lot different.
We're sorry.
We're not sure. We're trying to experiment with different, we put the camera in a different place right now to sort of see how it will work. And then we're going to try to be better about our expressions, but we'll see how this works.
But my Botox is going to kick in probably, and I'm not even going to have an expression. So
I got my Botox done yesterday too.
Oh, I love it. It feels so good.
And now for the regular podcast.
The regular.
Hello.
I wouldn't call this episode very regular though.
Oh, you're going to do a regular? You're not doing it. But everything we talk about is super normal.
This is real abnormal. Hey guys, this is the Witches, Magic, Murder, and Mystery podcast.
I'm Megan.
I'm Kara.
We're great.
We're so good.
If you were on the Patreon, then you've already heard us talk about what a disaster of a recording day we've had so far.
Yeah.
Not got anything to do with any of the equipment. It's just more the fact that I'm a klutz. I can't help myself.
We're just all over the place, really.
I'm knocking things over. I'm spilling drinks. The lights are flickering for reasons we don't understand.
My iPad didn't charge, so I had to print everything off, and I'm having to hold it all weird. Oh, you can't even, see Jason's. Okay, we'll have to, hold it up at some point. There you go, guys.
There we go. YouTube Jason is represented.
Jason.
He'll get upset with us if he's not.
So offended. He's
an integral part of this podcast.
He's a very big part of this podcast, and he's requesting royalties at this point.
He wants his fans to know that he sees you.
He sees you.
He knows what you want, and it's really us holding him back.
He's trying to provide you with more. We just won't allow it. So
it's us.
He's at the coffee shop right now wrapping one of our shirts, and he just thinks that he's the coolest.
He's a pretty great PR person.
He's so good.
Okay, what kind of story do you have today?
Are you ready?
No.
No, you shouldn't be. Okay, it's medicinal cannibalism.
I feel like this will be 2 Mondays in a row.
Oh, guys,
where you have done a horrible eating episode.
Sorry, guys. Trigger warning, probably don't eat anything before this if you get nauseous.
Oh, man.
Go take a Zofran. Pop some Tums. I don't know.
Let me reposition.
Okay.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
So, yep, Megan. Have you ever felt so sick that you would literally do anything to feel better?
I would have said yes until you gave me the term medicinal cannibalism. And now I feel differently. I feel like I wouldn't necessarily.
Great. What is I hate having the stomach bug. I can't stand to throw up. I would rather have strep for 12 days straight. I cannot stand to have an upset stomach like that. That is the worst to me. What's yours?
I can't remember the last time I even had a stomach bug. I know. There I go.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, I don't know. I've only had strep once in my life, but it was terrible.
Strep is bad.
So I feel like I'd go with that. I think that's the worst I've ever felt. And it was a year ago or 2 years ago or something.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So bad. Okay. So back in the day, people would resort to cannibalism thinking that it would cure them, but it wasn't what you're thinking, Megan. It's
back
not
in what day, Kara?
Back in days.
Back in days.
Early days of European culture.
The times before now, Megan.
The times before our time. Maybe even into our time. I'll touch on that at the end. But
I'm not happy about any part of this.
Okay. But it had to be mummified. It wasn't.
So at least it was.
It wasn't the living. You're not eating the living.
You're eating.
Like Dahmer did. Dahmery, whatever his name was.
He didn't eat them alive, did he?
He ate that leg that flew off that guy.
Oh, Charles Dahmer. Dahmery. I mean, I really hope that everybody caught her impression of his eating noises in that moment of the podcast. That was last Monday's episode. I laughed so hard at the time, and then I laughed later when I edited it. Just hilarious.
Because we're so funny.
We at least find each other hilarious.
So funny. And that's why we're doing this. For our pure entertainment. And you all get to tag along.
So
okay.
So these, they eat dead people.
They eat dead
Gross.
people. Yeah. Because they believed it cured the ailments of the living, Megan. Jeez.
Yeah. I disagree, Kara.
Yeah. Well, so medicinal cannibalism was a huge part of the mainstream medicine. It was in the 18th century. English physician Robert James Pharmacopoeia Universalis cited that the flesh of a mummy resolves blood clots, coughs, menstrual problems, and speeds the healing of wounds.
The blood of a mummy? Is that what you just said?
The flesh of a mummy resolves blood clots and menstrual problems. Really any bleeding issues you may have. So maybe if a hemophiliac is, maybe they're just lacking mummy flesh.
Have you tried mummy flesh? Next time, somebody has bad cramps. Have you tried mummy flesh?
It's like when people are like, "Oh, you have anxiety? Just
calm down. Just get
over it." You have a bleeding disorder? Just eat mummy flesh.
As if it's like something you can go to the store and just get some mummy flesh. It's
fine. So they thought that many of the medical cannibalism recipes applied the principles of sympathetic magic to disease, like the belief, the powdered blood helps bleeding, human fat helps bruising, powdered skulls help with migraines or dizziness. And then another example is the claim that the Egyptian rulers cured their parasitic infections by bathing in human blood.
I don't know how to feel. I'm so bothered by everything.
Maybe Elizabeth Bathory just had a lot of intestinal parasites.
I'm not convinced she actually did bathe in blood, but if she did,
that's what she had wrong.
She's just following ancient medicine.
Yeah, guys.
I mean, I'm always in support of like things outside the pharmaceutical norm, but eating mummified skin,
or skulls.
No,
crushed up skulls.
No, not for it. It's not for me.
Wait, what's that, Megan? How did they get the bodies to feast on?
Yes, Kara, how did they get those bodies to feast?
Megan, they would import the mummies.
From where?
So since medicinal cannibalism was such a huge booming industry, they started raiding tombs in Egypt, and it was around the 11th century, and they started to sell them across Europe. So then the supply of the mummified remains started becoming scarce in the 1600s. The physicians started looking to the recently deceased specimens.
If you import them, it's at least I don't know this person's flesh. Mm-hmm. This is not anyone I loved or cared about.
Right.
They come from somewhere else.
Yeah, and then you don't know, what if it's a tomb of royalty, and then you got you're eating royalty flesh, and maybe that's 10 times cooler.
It costs more for sure.
Yeah. They believed that the corpses of strong men and women held higher demand because their strong flesh would overcome the sick and weak flesh of the living.
I mean, you would want to have healthy dead skin as opposed to unhealthy dead skin.
Yeah.
That's just common sense, Kara.
Right, Megan. So have you ever, I know here in Kentucky they have you know how you make country ham? You hang it up in a barn in a building.
I don't like where this is going. Oh God. Yeah.
They would cure the bodies of these strong men. And they would mellify them. So that was dipping corpses in a mixture of honey and herbs, to create an additional, medicine. So it's they were making honey baked hams.
Oh my God.
Not just country hams.
Country ham beats honey baked ham any day.
Any day.
By the way.
My gosh.
If if you don't know what country ham is, because I've learned that if you...
Wait, Megan, there's people that don't know what country ham
is.
is?
It's a sad life. You know, I also have met people who don't know what beer cheese is.
Huh?
I don't understand. Just move to Kentucky.
Who are you all?
Just come here, hang out with us, and eat all the good food.
Yeah. Wait.
I had a friend who came and stayed at my house, and she lived in Missouri, and she was just like, yeah, no, what is beer cheese? And I was like, oh,
Hold.
what? Wait.
Why? Have you never experienced that in your life before?
Can we just talk about beer cheese for the rest of the time and not discuss this anymore?
I mean, I've got like 4 pages left here, so probably not.
Okay, bye.
Okay. So then they made tinctures to treat internal bleeding by soaking mummified bodies in alcohol or vinegar. Then they would powder some skulls, like crush up some skulls, to use to treat ailments of the head. And sometimes they mix this with like a chocolatey treat. To treat like hemorrhages or strokes.
No.
They're like, oh, it's kind of hard to take that.
Let's just add chocolate.
Yeah, that powdery skull tastes a little weird, so we're just going to add some chocolate to it. Mm-mm. Don't put it in a capsule. They didn't know what vegetable capsules were at that time, so
there was no choice. They just had to eat it.
With chocolate.
Nope.
Okay, so in the 1800s, Englishmen treated epilepsy by mixing skulls with molasses. And they would just chew it or eat it because it's a powder. The skulls were powder.
Oh, right. Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah,
that does
you
help.
can't chew on the skull.
Thank you. But the flesh would be
the ham flesh,
like beef jerky. I hate this. Why do I keep talking?
So, according to the 15th century philosopher Marsilio Ficino, Romans drank the blood of slain gladiators to absorb the vitality of strong young men and suggested adopting the practice by drinking blood from the army of young persons.
Okay, so there is something that is less disturbing to me about drinking the blood than about chewing stuff up. And I can't quite figure out what that means about me. Guys, I'm like, yeah, I can handle that. I don't want to do it, but it's not nearly as disgusting to me to imagine.
How do you feel about silver, Megan?
Silver?
Garlic?
Oh.
I don't.
And I hate the sun. And
Megan's a vampire, guys.
I don't want to drink anyone's blood. I'm just saying. I definitely have more of a texture thing. Chewing up someone's dead skin is... Okay, there are things I shouldn't say out loud.
It's out there. The world now knows. So, physicians and patients believed that ingredients obtained from corpses were most potent if they had died violently. Like the great 16th century physician Paracelsus, Celsus, whatever his name was, wrote that after a man was hanged, his vital spirits would burst forth to the circumference of the bone. It was thought that when death came suddenly, a person's spirit could stay trapped within its mortal coil for at least enough time that the living might benefit from its power.
That's worse. Because then it's like, you're like, I'm drinking the person. I'm drinking who they are. Oh my God. And you all were just okay with this. Like I'm speaking to them. Can you hear me?
Can y'all hear us?
What were you doing?
So during the Renaissance, the blood was typically harvested from freshly dead, but it could also be taken from the living. So obviously they're vampires. They said a highly respected 15th century Italian scholar and priest said that elderly people hoping to regain the spring in their step could suck the blood of an adolescent who was clean, happy, temperate, and whose blood is excellent, but perhaps a little excessive. You know, Megan, you look like you got a little extra blood in your body today.
We're helping you, really. This is really just to help the kid. So they would, while they're alive.
And then another theory was you could distill the blood of a healthy man like it's rose water. And that was said to have cured any disease of the body. In a small quantity, it's quoted that they said, "A small quantity restoreth them that have lost all their strength."
I have nothing. I have nothing
Megan
to
has
say.
nothing to add to this.
It's just so gross. Like, it's just, again,
It's a
it
lot.
seems like there would be just an instinct thing, like the basics of your brain would tell you not to
be repulsed
not
by
to
this.
eat people. And this was like not just, there are some weird people here and there where something
No, it
goes
was
wrong,
everybody.
but this was like
Everybody at the
thing.
time.
This was like a thing.
Yeah, they all did it.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes it's good when we make changes.
Sometimes it's good to learn and grow.
Learn from your ancestors' bad habits. Okay, so Charles II of England paid a small fortune for a recipe to make a tincture from a human skull. It was deemed the King's Drops, and Charles made use of this resulting alcohol mixture frequently. He would sip on it, and he made it in his own laboratory.
There's something about it being ground up which makes it very easy to like distance yourself from what it actually is, right? Like,
Yes.
it's ground up. It's not like you're looking at the skull
Right.
itself and thinking that's used to be a person with a family.
Uh-huh.
But the whole skin thing, the chewing the skin thing, the curing it
Can't
like
get
a
over
ham
it.
thing,
Can't get
I
over
just
it.
can't handle it. I think that's again, I don't want to drink anybody's blood. I feel like I need to make that very clear.
I don't know, guys, I'm questioning whether or not she's a vampire.
But it's also the same thing. You put it in something like that and drink it, and it's easier to pretend it's something else.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't like it.
I don't know. So the skulls acquired for the use in the King's Drops came from Ireland gravediggers. The remedy was so popular for a variety of complaints, and it was, like I said, mixed with chocolate, or sometimes he'd mix it with wine. In at least one case, it was used as a sort of like mother's little helper by a woman named Anne Dahmer maybe, who wrote in 1686 to her sister, Lady Elizabeth Trumbull. And she quotes, God, my nose is running from laughing. I apply myself to tend my crazy health and keep up my weak, shattered carcass, broken with restless nights and unquiet days. I take the King's Drops and drink chocolate. And when my soul is sad to death, I run and play with the children. She said that she had grown on skulls, and it was thought to be super powerful. And then they would like brush it up and shove it up the nose to stop nosebleeds. I think that's just like quick stop, like blood clots and stuff. I mean, it's like that powder that cops and ambulance firefighters, EMTs, whatever, like pop open and like put in bullet wounds. Like
she referred to herself as a carcass.
She did.
That is one tired mother.
She was a tired mother. Yeah. But she was able to run and play after she took of the King's Drops.
Which were skulls.
Skulls and chocolates and wine. Okay. Her preference was chocolate. She would drink chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe it was the chocolate that was curing people.
It maybe had nothing to do.
Chocolate has antioxidants in it.
Or maybe it was a placebo effect.
Yeah.
Because
skulls.
Your brain's important.
Their brains were important.
Oh, God. Gross.
Ew. Okay, so then epileptics were known to have been cured by all of this too, by the blood mostly. So they would jump at the front of a crowd during beheadings because they thought that if they came in contact with the spurts of blood, it would cure their disease. Even poor people who couldn't afford the King's Drops or whatever because it was so expensive, they would go up to the executioners with cups, and they would pay them a small amount to fill their cups with the deceased's blood.
Like a keg, just bust open, and you're just get there to catch it.
Yeah. And the executioners were quoted saying, "It's like killing two birds with one stone. It reduced the criminal burden and served the public good."
I take back everything I said about the blood being less disturbing. That's disturbing. That's
Here we
awful.
go.
That's awful. Because then you're very clearly, it's right in your face, literally, what you are doing and what you are drinking. This was a person. Oh my God.
Yeah. Also, ugh.
Wouldn't a beheading be disturbing enough?
That's what I was about to say. Like, just the thought of being there when that happens.
I mean, it used to be normal to watch executions. It used to be like a normal
Hangings
thing.
and stuff, yeah.
Our society has definitely gone the other way on that, but
yeah.
I guess if you're so desensitized to it, if it's something that you're just used to seeing, then the idea of going and getting the blood from it.
But also, like, if they thought that, like, a strong person's blood could make them stronger, if these people that they're beheading were horrible people, wouldn't you think that you're absorbing their
because if they say
liveliness?
like it was a traumatic or like quick death, then it would still have the person's
spirit in their bones.
So now we're great at this. So now you're ingesting someone's spirit, like an evil person's spirit. What is happening?
Why is this happening to them? Also, this is in there and I don't like it at all.
Okay, I'm sorry. Did you just reach a disturbing part of the story?
Sick people consumed menstrual blood when it was available.
Dang it, Kira.
When it was available, did you not have enough whip? Like, was everybody on their period at the same time? So you were like, oh, we can only get it once. How did you? I mean, just like,
who was the first person who thought of that? Like, who was the person who was like,
do you have like a dog or a cat and you ever had to get like a urinalysis on them and you're like trying to follow them around to catch their pee so you can take it to get it tested? Like, is that what they did to catch the menstrual fluids? Guys, I'm disturbed.
I'm horrified. I don't think there's anything disgusting about periods. I'm fine with whatever, but
yeah.
Oh my God.
Don't drink that.
Oh no, okay, let's pretend.
Moving on.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to look some people in the eye after they listen to this podcast, and they're going to be like, Megan,
why'd you let Kara say
that?
that?
Like, look, it's Kara. I have no control over her. You know her. She's a wild card.
Ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do. Ain't nobody tell me what to do.
My mother is absolutely going to call me.
I can feel it. I love you so much, Mom.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Don't drink. Okay. Okay, so Pope Innocent VIII, consumed the blood of 3 young boys while he was on his deathbed, thinking it was going to make him better. So that happened.
The Pope did it.
Mm-hmm. The Pope was like,
and his name was Pope Innocent.
Mm-hmm. But he was like, I don't know what he did in his lifetime, except for drinking blood of boys.
At a time when it was apparently socially acceptable. But that's the part that confuses me the most.
Yeah. That's bad. Okay, so then they thought, this is just like consuming the blood and fat. It's more of like a cure. So they wiped up the blood of Charles the First on dish rags after his beheading and passed it on to the ill. They were like, he's Charles the First, guys. We're gonna dip this.
This is royalty.
Just like Simba across their foreheads to the poor people and the sick people with Pope's blood, or not Charles. It's Charles's blood, not Pope.
If you're not watching the YouTube video, you should just for that moment. Simba.
So then they took those said rags and wiped them on their open wounds. And then rubbed fat on their skin to make it heal faster. What if this Charles I had like HIV?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Did you all not know about bloodborne pathogens at this time?
I don't think they did.
They didn't take those tests.
They're eating human skin to cure their diseases. I feel like the idea of bloodborne pathogens is like a little further in the future.
Okay. But maybe that's why we have bloodborne pathogens tests we have to take.
I hope so.
They really do.
And we don't do this anymore.
What?
Oh, you did say that maybe.
Okay. Yep. So normally the blood was drunk, warm.
I thought you said drunk, like
the blood
Normally
would
it was
get drunk.
intoxicated.
It's intoxicating. It was warm and fresh for increased effectiveness, but some people preferred to cook it. So then they had a recipe of how to turn blood into marmalade. And that was invented in 1679. An apothecary suggested letting the blood partially dry, chopping it into small pieces, and allowing the remaining water to seep out, and then cooking it into a batter before sifting it into a jar. No. No. 2 more pages. Okay. In the 17th and 18th century, man's grease, quotations, man's grease, became high demand. It was a hot commodity. The executioners would sell the fat of the people they executed, and then it would be melted and filled into vessels. Apothecaries would sell it as a remedy for pain, inflammation. Guys, rabies. It cured rabies. Joint
You're
problems
talking about
and scars
the melted fat
off people's bodies.
of a random stranger.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it being someone you know makes it better, but just like
Gather round, folk.
Oh,
Gather round.
oh, it's disgusting. This is disgusting.
Y'all
And the
are-
fact that you called it man's grease,
Man's grease.
worse.
That's what they
Worse.
called it. I had to repeat
Well,
it.
I'm not.
I'm reading the article now. So people know what I got my sources right.
Why did you invent this, Kara? I blame you for the behavior of these people.
Okay, so then they said, additionally, the skin of these executed people would also be used for medical purposes. Pregnant women would place that skin around their belly during childbirth because it was thought to reduce birth pains. And then others placed it around their neck to prevent thyroid problems.
The smell alone. What are you doing?
Ew.
Also, I would just be like, I'm going to be haunted forever.
Yeah. Like all these people walking around with people's body parts on them.
Yeah. As a spirit, wouldn't that irritate you?
Yeah.
That was
Can I have
mine.
that back?
That was
guys?
mine.
Can I have that following that person around? God, I gotta go this way now because this one's got my
Yeah.
forearm.
Because they
The
ingested.
skin of my forearm.
Yeah, they did it when they took part of my spirit with them, and here I am. Oh, it's
There goes my
It's
abdomen.
terrible.
That pregnant woman. God. Yeah. So mumia, it's a medicine that started out in Egypt and quickly became in high demand throughout Europe within the 16th century, was thought to cure any ailment there was. So it was the black remnants in the skull. What?
like the most rotten parts,
I
the black
guess.
remnants.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome.
And abdominal cavities were scraped out of mummies and placed into large vessels. Apothecaries mixed this with herbs and wine and then prescribed it as a medicine to their patients. So maybe their patients didn't even know they were drinking dead people.
Let's hope that.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like it wouldn't have mattered. It was just
No.
what was done.
Yeah, and that time nobody cared. So then in Germany, around the early 1600s, a recipe for wine from flesh was invented. According to this recipe, the body of a human, specifically young, flawless redhead, was used. Their flesh was chopped up and mixed with aloe and myrrh and then mashed into a cured wine. Redheads. Young redheads.
Well, thank God I'm old. I keep being so perplexed by the idea that perhaps our aversion to eating people is not just instinctual. It's something we've evolved to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like that was the thing.
Like it seemed to be okay by a large group of people. Like it was
A
just
lot,
a normal societal thing.
Several.
Yeah, across countries
yeah.
and religions and whatever.
Yeah.
You
can't see what Megan's mouth is just.
I can't. Yeah, if you're on the YouTube, you can. I'm just like, what? What's happening?
How long has it been since I've said, huh?
Because of that one review. Huh?
Huh?
You know what? I love it when Kara says, huh.
So,
I love it when Kara says everything.
so kick rocks. Hater.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean,
So
if you're still listening, you can go back and revise that review anytime you want to.
we would love that. All the bad reviews. Put them up.
We don't even have that many bad
No, we
reviews.
don't.
There's a few.
Haters.
We're not talking about sound quality.
Also, if you don't like something, just move on. Like, I don't.
No, we don't do that in the age of the internet, Kara.
Just
If I don't like something, I need to let you know just how much I hate you.
I hate
just how much
keep
you annoy
going.
me.
Just keep going.
Yeah, you don't have to listen. It's fine.
Lord. Okay. So while the practice of medicinal cannibalism faded away in the early 1800s, tradition's not dead, technically. In a less morbid turn, a handful of 21st century mothers and fathers consume placenta of their newborns, and it makes them, like, some people believe it has healing properties to it.
Dang it.
Yep.
Dang it.
And it's not to say that we've moved on from using one human body to heal another. We do blood transfusions, organ transplants, skin grafts, all modern medicine, but also similar practices to that.
I mean, the placenta thing is like, I've actually read quite a bit about that. I haven't done it, but it's like, I don't have a problem with people who do. I don't find that disgusting. So now I'm like, oh.
And they go on to talk about, like, this article goes on to talk about how, like, back then they were selling the mummies, like, doing trades and stuff, like, transferring them from one country to another, trying to sell them and stuff, and same with, like, body parts, or the executioners were selling the blood. I mean, there's still a huge world in the black market for selling organs and stuff. Like, there's like organ donors and stuff, but you still have, like, people in that realm snatching bodies and selling body parts. Woo! It said that there was a body snatching ring in New York City that stole and sold body parts from the dead to medical companies. And they said that it's that idea that once a body is dead, you can do what you want with it. I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
I don't like it at all. That's so disrespectful.
I mean, I guess it would depend on if the person, like, you know how now.
If they were an organ donor, if they
right.
signed that they wanted to do that.
So was there some sort of thing back then where it was just, like, accepted that, well, when I die, my body may be used
just
for this?
Given to whatever.
That
would
would
people
make
give
it
their bodies to science.
Different for me. That would make it
You would
different
eat
for
a
me.
body then? You would wrap your pregnant belly in dead people's skin?
Probably not. Well, but it's also hard to say. Like, now, no. But if I lived back then, that was right. That was just done.
Yeah.
I'm just amazed that it was ever
a thing
acceptable.
Yeah.
But, you know, we didn't know a lot about medicine then, and what caused diseases and what cured diseases, and
that's so very. I mean, we still don't.
That's true. There seems to still be a lot of confusion about how diseases are spread and prevented. Okay. Thank you for listening.
Yes, so
I'm not even thanking you for that story. I thank you for the work you put into it.
Except you're welcome.
I do appreciate that you do this podcast with me. Yeah. I don't like your story, but I like you.
I like your face.
Okay, thank you all for listening.
Yeah, thanks so much.
If you would like to send us story ideas so that we don't have to resort to talking about medicinal cannibalism ever again.
It's great, guys. It's so great.
You can email it to us at witchesmagicmurdermystery@gmail.com.
Yep, or hit us up on Instagram. In the link in our bio, you will find literally all the links to everything, or you can just message us on there.
Yeah, and then wherever you're listening, if you look at the show notes for this episode, all the links to everywhere to find us, including the Patreon and the podcast shop and all those other things
Facebook
are in
group.
there too. Yeah. Facebook group. Man, we are growing really quickly, I think because we're doing so many episodes this month.
Oh, yeah.
But if you haven't joined it, you should. If you have joined it, please feel free to just post anything and say hi.
Whatever. Yeah,
everybody in there is great.
We love it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. We love you.
We love you so much.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.